Decolonize your mind is the topic right now. The urgent call to bring free from mental enslavement. Wake up, open your eyes. This is not just racism, it's war. It's being fought on the most dangerous battlefield of all, our minds. A white conservative can openly say, if I see a black pilot, I'll get nervous, or I wouldn't trust a black female surgeon. And instead of being called out for their sheer stupidity, their words are taken as if they hold weight. But let's be real. This isn't about skills, qualifications, or experience. This is about control. It's about keeping the illusion alive that black, Hispanic, and Asian people are inferior, even when reality proves otherwise. Not to mention Indian people. Because if a black pilot exists, if a black female surgeon exists, if black excellence exists at all, then that means white people were never naturally superior. And that truth is too much for them to handle. That's why, despite all the odds, despite the fact that black professionals have to be twice as good just to be considered good enough, white people will still turn around and question their competence. It's not logic, it's white supremacy fighting to survive. Yeah. But the bigger issue, too many of us still fall for that trap. We are all colonized. Black, Hispanic, Asian, Indians. The way we move, the way we think, what we see as acceptable or unacceptable, even who we choose to date, all of it has been shaped by a system designed to keep us mentally enslaved. And nowhere is this more obvious than in our own communities. Colonization in our dating life. Let's talk about it. Look at the black community. Black men have been conditioned to reject their own women. They openly say they don't find dark-skinned women attractive, but turn around and chase after white women who they expect to have the body, the lips, the features of a black woman. They want blackness, but not from a black woman. Think about that. I've seen it a lot. That is a colonized mind, and it's no different than the anti-black that runs through Hispanic and Asian cultures, where whiteness is upheld as ideal. We see a lot in the Hispanic cultures. They never show black-looking Latinos on television. The Asian community, they promote skin bleaching a lot, and the list goes on. Colonization and our self-worth. We've been taught that we have to work twice as hard, be twice as perfect to prove ourselves, just to be seen as equal to mediocre white people who get handed opportunities just for existing. We internalize this and pass it down to our kids, pushing them to be excellent, but never once questioning why we even have to work twice as hard to begin with. Why are we still playing by their rules? Why are we? Colonization and our own betrayal. This is the most dangerous part. Our greatest leaders were murdered, not just by white supremacists, but by our own people. Black traitors paid off to take them down. Malcolm warned us. Garvey warned us. Fred Hampton was assassinated in his sleep because he was uniting the people. Today, Dr. Arikana is warning us, and instead of listening, we allow ourselves to be used as pawns in the very system designed to destroy us. This is not an accident. This is a psychological warfare. They don't need to kill us when they can turn us against each other. They don't need to enslave us when we are willingly executing their agenda. That's why the sellouts exist, because they create them. They take the weak-minded ones, hungry for white approval, and turn them into tools of white supremacy. And until we decolonize our minds, we will keep falling for the same game. How does 7% of the world control the minds of the 93%? Ask yourself this. How is it that white people make up only 7% of the global population, yet they dictate the thoughts, beliefs, and actions of the other 93%? Because colonization didn't just steal land, it stole minds. And we are still enslaved because we have never truly broken free from the mental chains. The time to break free is now. This is why Decolonize Your Mind has to be written. We can't keep ignoring what's right in front of us. They fear us because they know that once we break out of this mental prison, their entire empire collapses. That's why they keep us divided, keep us distracted, keep us fighting each other instead of fighting the system. It's tiring. But we don't have to play their game anymore. The moment we wake up, the moment we reclaim our power, the moment we stop seeking their validation and start building our own, it's over for them. It's over for them. So what are we going to do? Keep being their puppets or finally breaking free and taking what's ours? The choice is ours, and the time is always now. The time is now. And that's why I feel like I have to make this ebook. Decolonize our minds. Even if there are other books that also speak on this, we need more. We always need more. We always need other people's talents and charisma and different ways of translating a message, you know, because I can look at Dr. Umar and Dr. Arakana, and I can feel them, and then I can go show people the same video I watched, and it won't even click in their head. It goes in one ear and out the other. But those same people will listen to me. So it's important that we keep spreading the message, because you never know who you're tapping into. You never know who is going to be influenced by you. You never know who is going to be touched by you. Just because somebody already has said it doesn't mean that you don't have impact. And this is a conversation that is critically important. It's vitally important that we recognize that we need to decolonize our minds. Because how in the world is there a whole beautiful African continent over there with so much untapped potential, and yet we have spent all of this time here in America fighting for rights when slavery ended over 100 plus years ago? Slavery ended 100 plus years ago. We could have been left. We could have been went back. Why are we still here? You see what I'm saying? Because our minds have been colonized. We have been trained to be afraid of Africa, to be afraid of the blacks over there, and to think that we are just a little bit better because of our proximity to white people. The same white people who have stabbed us in the back and have used us and have purposely kept us oppressed and hold us back from reaching our true potential. We feel a little bit more superior than the blacks that are in Africa. So we never thought for a second, oh, slavery's done. I could go back home. No, we stood here and we mentally drained our brains and our kids' brains, all of our family's brains, just to prove to white people, for what? For what? How many times are they going to tell us that they don't care for us? How many times do they have to show us that we are their enemy no matter what we do? We are the kindest people on earth. You can look it up. Black people are the kindest people on earth. We literally live by the word of world peace. Okay, there's not one black country in this world that has weapons of mass destruction. Just think about that. We don't have mass shootings and stuff like that in black countries. But our minds is colonized to keep trying to convince white people that do not care. And for what? Yeah, there are some nice ones, yeah. But at the end of the day, there's always 10,000 more behind them that hate us. And we need to do what's best for us. And this doesn't just apply to black people or people of color. This applies to white people too, because this is your history too. You need to decolonize your own mind. Because the fact that white people feel that a doctor that is black is not qualified to be their doctor or be their pilot tells you that your mind is colonized too. And we all need to learn from this so we can move on. We should be much further in the world right now. We should have flying cars right now. We should have cities floating in the sky right now with the advancement of all of us put together. But no, we're fighting here on this earth about color, for greed, for the 1% of people who hoard all the money. We're doing all of this for those people who are hoarding all of the money. And they have convinced a group of people who have pale skin that they are more important than everybody else in order to get them to cooperate, in order to get them to accept getting less than what they deserve, in order to make them accept not having health insurance, you know, living in impoverished cities with messed up infrastructure and poor school curriculums and over-processed food and overtaxed items, tax on houses, tax on food, clothes. You get taxed on stuff that's already taxed on. And nobody can put the two together, that white people have been conditioned to accept that because somebody told them that they were more important than the others, even though you're going to live just like the others, but you're more important. So we're going to dangle this 1% billionaire person in front of you that has the same shade as you so you can accept getting less than. And that trickles down to black people being afraid of other black people, like, well, I got to stick next to white people. Somehow, some way, I got to still stick next to them because it makes me a little bit better. Whether that's my skin color being a little bit fairer, or that means that I'm dating a white person or a lighter person, or I'm in a white neighborhood, or I'm in a country that is majority white and I'm just living in it. It's always something to do with race. It's a social construct created to justify slavery, to justify treating humans as something other than human. They treat their dogs better than they treated black people. And they created race. White people weren't even a thing. It was invented in the 1600s to justify slavery. It's a cult. It's nothing else than a cult. And I'll get into that. But there's so much to talk about on this topic, y'all. And that's why I'm writing this book. And I'm going to do it for all different age groups: adults, teenagers, adolescents, and school-age kids and toddlers. Because everybody deserves to know. And it starts when we're young. We need to start this now. We need to start decolonizing our minds now, and we need to save our children. We need to save the next coming so that they can grow up with strong minds and know what the heck is going on. It's never too early to start telling our young ones what's really going on. Never. Stay safe out there. Remember, buy with black dollars and shop at black businesses. See y'all.